Ron Borges, are you on the phone with us? Do you have $600 million in your back pocket?
Well, I have about $300 million, but I don't talk about it,
Hey, thanks for joining us. Ron and I have known each other a long time. Back in the day when I used to accompany Dan Shaughnessy to football games when I was 20 years old and a senior at
Exactly
Columbia.
right.
It's a long time, don't you think?
What was going on, and you could do the same thing today.
And I'm still talking about the Patriots, which is somewhat sad. 7-2 heading into the Colts game on the Sunday night on NBC with Al Michaels, of course, and the Colts at 6-3. Andrew Luck's having a great year. What do you see out of this matchup? And I think one of the things that made it so interesting to me was Brady talking this week about how much he admires Luck and how much he wishes he was like him. Well, I mean, I think that Andrew Luck has a couple things he likes about Tom Brady.
Oh, many things. To me, it's an interesting matchup for a lot of different reasons because already, and not just here in New England, but all over the country already, they're not talking about the Patriots and the Colts. It's already, Brady against Luck against Brady, as it was for so many years with Peyton Manning. And in Andrew's case, he's not only 0-2, but they lost by an aggregate score of 102-49, I think it is. And he's been dreadful, really, in both games. So I think one of the sort of sub-stories behind this whole thing is if that happens again, even though he's only a very young quarterback, the questions are already going to start to get raised. Well, is he Manning too? Can he not beat Belichick? Is Belichick in his mind? Can he not beat Brady? So there's a lot of things at stake here in this game. The biggest one, of course, being potentially home field advantage in the playoffs. But that sort of backstory of, is Andrew Luck, now hit with the curse of Peyton Manning, I think is going to be more significant than you might think, depending on how the game goes.
You have been outspoken before about Bill Belichick. How do you feel he is doing right now?
Well, look, on the sidelines, he's a good coach. When it comes to
in terms of decisions that he's making.
Yeah, a lot of his decisions, I think, have not been good. In fact, it's funny around here. You'd think they just won the Super Bowl last year. Listen to some of the fans. They haven't won in 10 years. Now, back when they were winning all the time, they used to dismiss the Colts winning a lot of games or the Eagles winning a lot of games because the only thing that mattered was the championship. Well, now the same fans that used to say that, their team's not winning the championship, so now it's about how consistently he's got them in the playoffs and they reached the championship game and so forth and so on. So I think he's made a number of decisions, and you could go back to one in this game, which is choosing not to pay Adam Vinatieri. And what was the result of that? They're in the Super Bowl with a 48-yard field goal, and they decide instead to go for it on 4th and 13.
Right.
They don't get it. They lose the game. Because he didn't want to, for whatever reason, let Gostkowski take that kick. I can assure you that if Adam Vinatieri was still on the team, he would have taken the kick and he would have made the kick, and they would have another piece of jewelry in their jewelry box.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Vinatieri, that move it raised a lot of eyebrows, and for anybody who is a fan, I mean, you were scratching your head wondering what was happening there. Rob Gronkowski. I watch him with a sense of dread sometimes. I'm waiting for something to get hurt. Do you know what I mean? It's that feeling you get when you're from Boston. You're waiting for something to go wrong. What do you see from him? I mean, isn't that the way it is? I mean, I didn't grow up. My nephews Jack and Sam, who live in Boston, they're used to winning. I grew up with Steve Grogan, Tony Eisen, John Hanna. The Red Sox were terrible. I mean, I'm not spoiled. I look at Gronkowski and I just think any minute now something's going to break.
Yeah, no, well, you're right, and history tells you that. And if you look at the style of play, it sort of lends itself to that. You can't play with that wild, always charging forward style that he has, and frankly, be as big a target as he is, probably without getting hurt. So you're right. Every time he goes down, he got hit a couple of weeks ago, right at the knee level, same as he had the year before when he got hurt so badly, and you can sort of audibly hear people in the stands, and then he got up and he was okay. It's kind of funny. You look at him, he's a massive guy, and you think, boy, this guy is, you couldn't hurt him with a machine gun. But then when the game starts, as you point out, you're sitting there every time he gets hits going, gee, I wonder if he's okay. Is he all right? This is a guy who fell down on his arm and broke his arm.
I mean, it's literally anxiety, and I love watching the kid. I think it's fantastic. The guy is a beast, but it does make me nervous. I will just say that. Pacquiao, Meriwether, are we going to see this happen? Just got to ask about question before you leave.
I don't think so. I think that in boxing, as in life, deals have a sort of shelf life, and if they're not made by then, they tend to fester and disappear. And I think that's the case here. They're both on the downside of it, although they still have a lot of skills. It would probably make for a better match because each guy isn't quite as good as he was before. But I just don't think it's going to happen. Mayweather hates Bob Arum, and he doesn't want to make any money. Right. He says you got to fight on Showtime. For whatever reason, I'll be really shocked, frankly, if it happens. And it's the only sport in the world, as you know, Susie, where this kind of thing happens.
I know. He
likes saying, okay, the Seahawks and the Patriots are going to play in the Super Bowl, and the Patriots go, no. I won't play the 49ers. No other sport works like boxing.
There's nothing quite like it. Nobody covers it like you do. Ron Borges, thank you so much for joining us on The Rich Eisen Show. Hope to have you back again next time.
Sure. Glad to do it.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.